Trump demands death penalty for black dude on a train that killed a Ukrainian refugee. The response from some of these black activists online are absolutely disturbing to watch, and I have the clips. I have the receipts. We're going to call you out for your disgusting language. It's amazing to me the response coming from these people that spent a whole year telling us to shut our mouths, regardless of the actual facts or information that we just don't understand, and we need to shut up and listen. I thought you guys were trying to end racism, not spark it up and make it worse, because it certainly seems like that's what you're actually doing. The media response has been absolutely disgusting. We have a tape of audio from the killer talking from jail, talking about how there's things inside of him and what that actually what that actually means. This picture is very haunting, and it shows you the effects of what's actually going on in the world. If things were to be reversed. We saw what was going on Fox News between Ben Shapiro and Jesse Waters. Ben Shapiro says the most obvious thing ever, and it triggers even the smartest leftist known to mankind, known as Destiny, calling Ben Shapiro depraved for stating an obvious fact that if the roles were reversed, if the races were reversed, there would be riots in the streets if this man wasn't hung himself. And Van Jones has an old clip pulled up talking about how white people have a disease within themselves that makes them racist as we respond to Van Jones's new clip. Black Lives Matter puts out an insane story on Instagram regardless of the situation. Read the room, bruh. They put out this insane story saying it's okay to have a little violence when we're dealing with racial tension. Absolutely disturbing and disgusting to see. We have so much to get through today, and it turns out he comes from a family of criminals. Congratulations. That's a wonderful thing to be a part of. And Matt Walsh gets in a fight. White people start to do the white square. New York Times puts out an insane article that we're going to get through. A gruesome murder in North Carolina ignites a firestorm on the right. God. That's right. This is the first article that New York Times has put out regarding this incident, this gruesome murder. And instead of actually talking about the murder, or maybe talking about the fact that a violent criminal has been let out over and over again and what should actually be done to this sort of thing and stop this from ever happening again, they're worried about right-wingers talking about it. Yeah, because more speech is a bad thing. And more disinfectant is a bad thing. Matt Walsh states the obvious facts, and CNN just keeps going. We have so much to get into. It's going to be a fun show. My favorite character in the whole world, Jasmine Crockett, we revisit her old statement talking about how white supremacists are actually the problem in the country, creating 80% of the crime and just making up stuff at this point. We have so much to get into. It's going to be a fun show, but I want you guys to think about this for a second. Before I roll the intro, I want you to think about this for a second. If I was a black person in today's world, I would be actually pretty mad because there's a weird thing that goes on in media and professional institutions and academic settings that you're not actually allowed to talk about some of these facts about how 4%, 13% if you add male and female, but 4% if it's just male, commits a disproportionate amount of violent crime. You're not allowed to talk about that. Look, as a white person, if I found out that the media has been covering and not talking about, imagine a suburb in Chicago that every single weekend in this suburb of Chicago full of white people are shooting each other every single weekend. White people are being shot every single weekend, and nobody talked about it. And if you were to talk about it, you were seen as racist. Imagine if a small suburb of white people were just constantly shooting each other and no one said anything. And instead of actually addressing the problem or trying to figure out why that's actually happening, we just scream racism. This is ridiculous. If I was a black person, I'd be very pissed off in today's world. It's just the same resulting in some of these you always hear, oh, you're going to talk about black crime? Why don't you talk about white kids shooting up schools? Sure. Let's talk about SSRIs. Let's talk about the effects of that. Let's talk about the home. Let's talk about what's actually happening in the home. And they're like, oh, let's not get into that. Let's just take away guns. Again, you don't actually want to address any of these rude issues. You just want to perpetuate it and push the ball along and continue to have problems. It's the same that goes on in these Chicago neighborhoods. Instead of actually addressing the crime and why these kids are actually shooting each other and why is there a culture of kids that just love violence, they're just like, hey, these red states that surround Chicago are the reason these kids are shooting each other. This is low IQ stupidity at its finest. We have so much to get into, but I'm just curious your thoughts on that. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy this day. But remember, this is psychotic and crazy in the media. You don't hate the media enough because they are just absolutely evil human beings. They don't actually want to address or fix any issues. They just want to push the ball along and make their side win. Ergo, Trump, orange man, bad. So therefore, everything he does or anyone on the right that does equals bad, no matter if it's a good idea or not.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go let the world
Trust the government.
She sent in a little video for us. Oh. Here she is.
Hey, in spite of everything you've heard, and let me just make sure you all know that it's actually me. Say it's me.
Anti-woke.
Anti-woke?
Suck on this, Biden.
Would we the all
Folks stepping on them because it's black.
I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition.
I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.
Begging for our enemies to penetrate.
Trump incited an erection.
COVID-19. What's up, guys? How are we all feeling on this lovely day? What's up, Watchman? What's up, DJ? What up, Doe? This wasn't culture. This wasn't the culture the culture club had in mind. Yeah, true. True. What's up, Kristen? What's up, Swell? How are y'all feeling? Rob, how are we doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are feeling fine. If you don't mind dropping a like on this video, if you haven't done so yet, please do so. And if you're watching on your phone, if you're watching the show on your phone and it's live, be sure to hit the hype button. It's right above the chat. I don't know why that's a feature, but it's supposedly a feature that's supposed to help out a brother. I don't know. I just couldn't get that thought out of my head this morning. I just kept thinking about how if this was a white neighborhood, if this was a habitual white problem of violent criminals, I would say something. And I would be pissed off if no one was talking about it. I'd be like, what's going on in these white homes? What's going on in our culture? What is creating this desire for violence like this? Like these kids in Chicago that just constantly shoot each other and then they just laugh about it. Like I would want to get down to the bottom of it. If it was a suburb of white kids just shooting each other constantly, what the frig is going on? I would not blame an inanimate object. That would be absolutely ridiculous. So I've been searching online for something for things to say, and I found this clip from the amazing Lucas. He doesn't sound too amazing. This guy is telling you exactly what you thought deep down inside, that they don't actually, a lot of these black commentators or these black supremacists, I will call them. I mean, not every black commentator is doing this, but these black supremacists, these types that want you to march for them, these types that want you to support BLM matters, stuff like that. Goes on to say that no one actually cares that this girl got killed, because that's just the reality. They don't actually care.
We'll say, I talked to 99.9% of black people about this story, about what transpired, and it's horrible.
Let's get it. Okay, there we go.
I think we all agree on that. And they wanted me to give a message. On behalf of 99.9% of black people, I'm here to talk to the white ignorants out there and let y'all know we are deeply uncaring. That is correct. We don't care, bruh. I'm sorry. We don't give not an ounce of caring about what happened to this girl on the train. I will say,
I don't, it's like, like I've been hit with like so many things on YouTube for hate speech and stuff like that. But something like this, they're like, yeah, that's hilarious. That's okay because, black people can't be racist. Trump called for the death penalty. Let's go. I don't want the death penalty. I don't want him to have an easy death. I want him to be put in a ship, taken to the middle of the ocean, and then allowed to swim. God, that's no quick and easy outs for me, man. These people and these quick, easy deaths, it's absolutely ridiculous. I saw this video being passed around, and I kept thinking, like, again, if the roles were reversed, people would be losing their mind about this stuff like this. We need to do something about these deranged psychopaths that are just allowed out and about. Oh, we need to do something about this. Deport this one especially. Yeah, exactly. He's sounding like a pastor's wife who said about the Catholic girls. He's sounding like the pastor's wife who said that about the Catholic. Oh, that's disgusting. Is that true? There's a pastor's wife who said that about the Catholic girls? Is that like a TikTok or something? Somebody was talking about the violence that happened by the trans kids. I mean, the trans dude that shot up the school. That's disgusting, dude. People are brutish, senseless, without knowledge. Oh, 100%. That's so disgusting. So this is the audio clip that's being passed around regarding this violent criminal being talked to while he's in his jail cell rotting. And of course, he goes back to the thing of something's inside me that made me do it. That actually, he didn't actually do it. I don't care. You did it, man. Actions have consequences, my brother.
So you said something in your body did what?
Yeah. What it do?
The material, put it like this, the material using my body.
I like that leading question. You said something in your body made you do this? Yeah, thanks for bringing that back up again. I would like to actually talk about that right now. Is carrying a CCW on a train legal? At this point, who cares? You know what I mean? It's like, if you have people like this on the train and the government is telling you you're not allowed to, it's legal. It's legal, but there's all those like rules of engagement that makes it hard. Depending on the state, is he walking away? Is the threat over? I would say that I think it's like that moral judgment. Like, are you willing? If I was on the train, I think I would fire it off, because I would be worried. He still has his knife. He's still a threat. He's still walking around. He just killed somebody. Like, I think you have justified cause. I think it would be hard for them to disagree with that.
Nah, the material, put it like this, the material using my body to stab the lady.
The material.
And so she just got stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they got to investigate the material in my body exposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they got to investigate.
Okay.
It's funny because she's from the Ukraine. She's from Russia.
She's from Ukraine. She's from Russia.
And you know they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand. Out of all people, why her?
It ain't. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's what happened.
They just lashed out on her.
They lashed out on her. Who was working the album? Who was working the material? Whoever was.
No. Okay. If you're schizophrenic, you still have power over your body. You might be hearing voices or things. You might have crazy thoughts in your head, but them. You still have control. Derek, you should show the Spaceballs dinner scene when the alien comes out. Yeah, true. True. I can't stop thinking about images like this. God, this is what happens. See, I don't have my stupid Zoom pad anymore, and I can't zoom into images like I used to. If this was the scene, if this is how it actually happened, a white dude with a hood over his head decided to like stab a little black girl. Can you imagine what Al Sharpton would be doing? We would hear the end of it, and for good reason, because that's actually disgusting and insane to see. But because the roles are reversed and it's all black people and it's a white person, the media has no response to it whatsoever. The media doesn't actually care. Why? Because it happens too much. And when it happens too much, you don't want to actually talk about it, because then you would actually have to push for change. It's just like the homeless thing. I mean, it's just like these unhoused people. They don't actually want to fix the issue. That's why they never talk about the issue. When there's a real issue that the government needs to actually deal with or media needs to get down to the bottom of, they don't actually want to fix it. They just want to talk about stupid AOC and her dumb tweets or something ridiculous that has no effect to us whatsoever, because people are exhausted and they don't actually want to fix lives, I guess. I don't know. You tell me. So she got stabbed. They got hit, her. Yeah. Okay. And so then I found this clip of Ben Shapiro talking to Jesse Waters last night, and leftard debate bro, the smartest guy on the left that everybody loses to apparently, Destiny, says, you can always tell these people, you can always tell when people fake their religion, because no one who thinks they're going to meet God would ever act this depraved. Interesting.
Under incarceration problem.
So he's calling out his religion. He's calling out his God and saying the God is not real based on this clip. Now, what in this clip would make someone that psychopath to call out somebody's religion based on this clip? Because he wants justice to be performed? I don't know.
Unfortunately, Jesse, I think it's perfectly obvious why the media deep sixes this particular story. And the answer is perfectly obvious when you look at the races of the people involved. If this had been a black victim and a white perpetrator, then it would have led the news nightly for months on end. You would have had riots in the streets. If it's the reverse situation, the media will completely ignore it because it doesn't match up with their preferred narrative of a white supremacist country that is cracking down on black people, even though statistically speaking, obviously, the vast majority of crime is intra-racial, meaning white on white or black on black. Black on white crime on a per capita basis is significantly higher than white on black crime. That does not match up with the media narrative about white supremacy in the United States.
Oh, that's what's so depraved? Seems pretty logical to me. Seems pretty freaking logical to me.
Do you also feel like they're sensitive to being called racist by their...
Rob Mack says black fatigue is also murder fatigue. We can label these people as domestic terrorists already. My fatigue, man. I have a fatigue of these violent people being let out constantly and being given easy sentences. Like, I've seen people that have been given harsher sentences for committing like tax fraud or, defrauding the government as if they don't defraud us. I've seen harsher sentences for that than like a rape and murder. Absolutely crazy. It's just like, and then these people just get let back out. It's like somebody does a violent act and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll let them back out.
That is cracking down on black people, even though statistically speaking, obviously the vast majority of crime is intra-racial, meaning white on white or black on black. Black on white crime on a per capita basis is significantly higher than white on black crime. That does not match up with the media narrative about white supremacy in the United States.
Do you also feel like they're sensitive to being called racist by their friends, family, and colleagues for highlighting black crime?
Yes.
There's no question about that. In the echo chamber that the legacy media live in, if you even mention black on white crime, then you are immediately seen as...
See, this is why I was like, I just don't understand. Like, if I was a black person, I'd be pissed. Like, these black people that aren't violent, that live in these neighborhoods, that deal with violence every single day, you got to be pissed, man. These media personalities, these politicians that have power over your life, do not want to talk about the violent crime that happens in your neighborhood, because it might make you have a different opinion about the people that live in that neighborhood, and that they're so worried about censoring speech. They're so worried about censoring you and making sure you have right think that they don't actually want to get down to the bottom of what's going on and why this needs to stop. Watching the liberals' response of Trump sending the National Guard into places like Chicago is very telling. And I get it. You don't want a police state or whatever like that, as if we don't already have a police state, as if they're not already watching and listening to our phones. I have seen countless liberals post videos online about how, in some ways, the undertone is they actually don't mind the violence because it makes the city feel like a real city. You don't want a city to be like whitewashed and to be gentrified and to be clean and to be nice. You want it to be like dangerous. Because the more dangerous a city is, the better a city is. I miss New York in the 80s. I miss it when crime was high. I miss it when people feared for their lives all the time. Oh, we have that now? Shh. Maybe I don't like it. The problem is with a lot of the court absorbs everything a person owns when they put them away, and then they come out with nothing. Are you talking about violent offenders, or are you talking about tax fraud?
Racially discriminatory in some way, because the basic idea on the left is that white against black is really the story of America, as opposed to blacks committing crimes against white people. To even mention that is to undermine the entire narrative of the 1619 Project, for example.
By re-releasing these people out into society after 11, 12...
I feel like that also shows you everything as well. You know, that shows you everything about these sorts of people. They're so worried about the narrative. They're so worried about how you think well, that if you were to actually talk about these statistics or talk about these sorts of things, it would ruin their grift. So many of these people, it would ruin their grift, and they wouldn't be able to make money off of these people and emotionally manipulate them in order for them to make more money. Like after George Floyd, you just saw all these BLM grifters come out of the woodwork and decide to go to all these companies and do these like DEI, these racial talks about anti-blackness or anti-racism. You know, these bullcrap talks in order to just like subjugate white people to make them say sorry over and over again and bend the knee, as if like I contributed to some kind of racist society or something. The grift will be ruined. People don't like think about that enough when it comes to media personalities and podcasters and some of these people that go to these homes. So many of these people are not real human beings. They're just grifters. And like wherever the money goes is what they'll actually talk about. And so right now, if you're to challenge, and their narrative is being challenged, a lot of these BLM people, a lot of these social justice warriors, their narrative is being challenged. In doing so, that makes them angry, because then they can no longer make money off of you. They're more mad about not being able to make tens of thousands. Like, just look at the chick that started BLM and her multiple houses, and she got to do it because of her family and like all that kind of stuff. It's a grift. They don't actually care about the information. They emotionally manipulate for money. Jesse, what's up? What up, Derek? I hit the notification bell on YouTube and it didn't remind me to tune in. What the frick? I appreciate you for telling me that. Of course. Dude, I've been censored on YouTube for so long. I need to start. Okay. All these YouTubers are starting additional channels. I need to start an additional channel just to see what happens. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to start an additional channel just for clips. So if you, I'll put that out soon. I think that's a smart thing to do. Both of my black friends say both of my black friends, says Rob, said, oh, you only have 2 black friends? I have 3. Rob Mack says, both of my black friends say if the Ukraine girl didn't want to get stabbed, then why is she in the train? Stop. God. I understand what they mean. I don't want to ride public transportation anymore. I've done my time. I've done my time in public transportation. I spent 4 years in Chicago riding public transportation. I've done my time. It's like going to war, man. Like those of us that have ridden public transportation in a major city like Chicago or something like that, it's like going to war. You know, I have PTSD from riding the train. Okay? I have PTSD. There were times that you don't ride the train. There were times that you're allowed to ride the train. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I could just be vulnerable and honest with you, and it's going to seem bad, I would like to ride the train during work hours of 9 to 5. And when I say that, I'm not saying 10 a.m. I'm saying 9 a.m. when people are going to work wearing suits, and 5 p.m. when people are going home wearing suits. Those are the times I felt safest on the train. But I used to ride the train late at night. My girlfriend at the time lived far away, and I would have to ride the train all the way to the end of the rail. And man, when it got darker, it got dark. And my friends and I had a rule, okay? We came up with this rule in Chicago. that in order for people not to mess with you on these trains, and if you're in Chicago, do this as well. If you're in a major city and you ride public transportation, because that's just a reality, some of us do it. If you're in a major city and you're in, you have to ride it at night, what you do in order for people not to mess with you, especially people like this, look crazier than them. Before we would get on a train, my friend and I, we would like take our hair and we would like put it straight in the air, and then we would put like a hood over, or we would like take a shirt and put it over our shoulder, or like take our arm out of our sleeve. Any way to make yourself look nuts, the better, because people won't mess with you if you look absolutely crazy. People will just leave you alone. They're like, that white boy, I don't know what's going on with that white boy, but that white boy crazy. Okay, here's Ben Shapiro, who's currently off celebrating off of the Qatar hit.
Project, for example.
By re-releasing these people out into society after 11, 12, 14 prior arrests.
Yeah.
Isn't there something about self-preservation? The judges and the DAs alone, why would they do that? Why would they turn these people loose over and over again?
Because they don't actually have to live in the cities, and they live in gated communities. These sorts of people that turn in, these people that ride these subways, they ride these trains, ride these buses, they don't ride the public transportation. So they're just like, oh, like all these leftards, public transportation is just so great. There's something to be said about going from point A to point B in the city. Oh, it's just so refreshing. It's low on carbon. You don't have to use gas. There's no traffic. You just get to sit. You don't have to be stressed out driving. And it's like, yeah, I do have to be stressed out because I'm worried that my life is in danger. These DAs and stuff, they don't ride public transportation. That should be a prerequisite for a lot of these DAs or judges. You should be forced to ride public transportation, so you have to deal with the common man, so you understand the ramifications that come from your actions.
It's ideologically horrific. I have a book called Lions and Scavengers about the mentality that suggests that if somebody is acting badly, they must be a victim. And that is the mentality that undergirds all of this. When you hear the mayor say that you can't incarcerate your way to safety, that is precisely wrong. You absolutely 100% can incarcerate your way to safety. We do not have an under-incarceration problem in America. We have an over-incarcerate. We have an
What's up, Steven?
Under-incarceration problem. We need these people locked up for longer periods of time. This particular person should have been involuntarily committed for mental illness. He had violent schizophrenia, or he should have been in prison
forever. We need to get this program to get these people out. Okay. So there's a clip going around. Of Van Jones talking about the murder of the Ukrainian girl. And people are referencing this old clip of Van Jones talking about how white people have some kind of disease, some kind of thing within them that makes them racist. And he's immediately attributing racism to what happened to George Floyd. But according to this, even though the guy that stabbed the Ukrainian girl in the train screamed, "I got that white girl," he's not attributing to race about this whatsoever, and actually hurt people.
Even the most liberal, well-intentioned white person has a virus in his or her brain that can be activated at an instant. And so what you're seeing now.
So white people have a virus in their brain that can be activated at any moment. Are you saying white people are MK Ultra?
Virus in his or her brain that can be activated at an instant. And so what you're seeing now is a curtain falling away. And those of us who have been burdened by this every minute, every second of our entire lives are fragile right now.
Okay. Yeah. Same with us. Yeah. I think your curtain is falling away. I think your curtain was actually fake. I think your curtain was actually not real. So here's Van Jones last night talking about how race isn't a part of this whole thing. And people need to stop talking about the race when it comes to this guy. It's just some guy that got hurt and now he's hurting other people. The previous video of what Van Jones said is incredibly racist. This idea that there's something within white people that makes them have a virus to actually become racist is insane to say on live TV and keep your job. People have been canceled for way less. People have been canceled for saying the N-word while rapping to a rap song. And you have some guy saying white people have some kind of inner disease within them that they can't stop themselves. God, jeez, these people, you don't hate these people enough.
Want to be there.
Yeah, and it's
about
difficult
forcing them to be there.
When you are mentally ill, you have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill. But also,
that's so true. Therefore, we should just be more empathetic towards this schizophrenic guy. He should face no consequences to this action. Yeah. What if when somebody says I was high and I committed this crime? Should we be empathetic towards the drug? The drug made me do it, brah.
So, I mean, people like Charlie Kirk, Van, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some...
People like Charlie Kirk are incredibly racist. Everything, if anybody knows anything about Charlie Kirk, the things that we know about Charlie Kirk are as follows. Man, Charlie Kirk is one of the most racist people I ever met in my life, child. Charlie Kirk is rape. What are you talking about? Are you high off your rocker? USA death penalty, brain virus. Is he a neurologist? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Van Jones, the neurologist. You didn't know that? Man, every bald black dude with glasses is a doctor in my eyes. MC Lil Ultra MK. You heard my talk? Yeah, exactly. He gets on my nerves, me too.
You are mentally ill.
Sure, a virus that one catches when exposed to the urban ghetto. Violent.
Forcing them to be there.
When you are mentally ill, you have a hard time knowing that you are mentally ill.
So
but also, I mean, people like Charlie Kirk, Van, they've been looking for opportunities to make this some sort of like reciprocal George Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think...
Yeah, it can't be the same because we're the victims and white people aren't. Even though this white girl was actually a victim. Even they're like 2 seconds away from saying that even though this white girl got murdered, she's still not the victim. Okay, because there's been years and years of institutionalized racism against black people. And even though he was violent, she is still being violent by sitting in front of him on the bus. How dare this white woman sit in front of a black man? He wasn't even having a good day. She should have said, "Sir, are you having a good day?" And if he said no, then you sit behind him. That's what you should have been doing. You should have said, "Excuse me, sir. I know that my people have caused a lot of generational trauma for you. Is it okay for me to sit in front of you?" These white commentators have been waiting for a day to pounce. No. We're not necessarily like you, okay? You guys are the ones that wait for an opportunity to pounce. They put Old Yeller down when he got rabies. Some people have rabies, that's true. Dude, Old Yeller, don't bring that. Don't bring Old Yeller into this, okay? I'm not ready to cry right now. Okay, that movie changed me as a man. That movie made me think about owning pets and the ramifications of one day the pet will die as a child. That is a deep trauma that I'm still working it out with my childhood psychologist.
Floyd situation. And that's the part that I think he's almost giving away the game. And it's sad to see a lot of people going along with it.
Wow.
You know, let me just say a couple of things. One is, what happened to that young woman was horrible.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
And it's everybody's nightmare. If you're in any public space, a subway, whatever, that something bad's going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord. Yeah. We don't know why that man did what he did.
No, we don't. Even though he screamed, "I got that white girl." We don't know. We have no idea. Even though it's been reported that he does have schizophrenia and his entire family doesn't understand the reasons why he's been let loose and out, letting the juice loose. We have no idea why this violent schizophrenic did this sort of thing. We're still confused. We're still getting down to the bottom. Let's not assume anything, even though the assumptions are right in front of our face. Excuse me, my ghetto homie, you be chilling or you're down bad? CNN gave away their game. They hate white people, of course. Well, especially Especially Van Jones. Van Jones has a long history. I don't hate white people as long as they agree with everything I say. Okay.
Any public space, subway, whatever,
Yeah.
that something bad's going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So
Yeah.
it does strike a chord.
Yeah.
We don't know why that man did what he did.
Wow.
And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when there's no evidence of that, it's just...
Yeah, there is evidence of that. There is. And if you took longer than 2 seconds to do your job in that beautiful purple suit... Oh, it's a beautiful suit. Oh, let's get another button undone. If you did your job for longer than 2 seconds, you would find out that he did actually scream that. But, you know, we're the crazy ones. I don't look, I don't know if CNN and these guys, people actually hate white people. I can't tell. Either they hate white people, or what I believe is the grift is up. The grift is up for a lot of these people, and they're no longer going to be able to grift off of these race politics because people are done. People are done. They had enough. You know, they had enough. Okay, are we actually going to get it? Are we going to play this whole emotional argument game, or are we actually going to get down to changing the way we live to make ourselves safer and make our country thrive better? And their grift is up, and they're mad about that. How dare you? I love his little soft-spoken voice, too. You can tell when someone's being very genuine in life. Oh, shoot. You're going to see what's behind me. Hi, my name's Van Jones. I'm being very genuine by the tone of my voice. I want you to know how serial I am when I speak to you. I'm being very serial with this calm demeanor. Do you feel my serialness? It's like a box of Lucky Charms. We'll never know. She just got stabbed somehow. Van Jones, exactly.
That's going to happen to you or somebody you care about. So it does strike a chord.
Yeah.
We don't know why that man did what he did.
True. Oh my God.
And for Charlie Kirk to say, we know he did it because she's white, when
You're
there's
mad
no
about
evidence
that.
of that.
Oh.
It's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong. Then he says that if something like that had...
Oh, you know, like the whole time what you guys did to Derek Chauvin. You attributed a race to that pretty easy, didn't you? I think the funniest thing, too, if we just think about this for a minute. So after BLM, George Floyd, and all that crap, police officers were forced to wear more cameras on their vest. And I thought, you thought these little race grifters were going to have like a field day. It was going to be video after video of racist cops shooting black children. And none of it has happened. In fact, it's exonerated and made police officers look a lot better in the things that they have to deal with in public. It's like everything backfires on these grifters, and they don't, and they're more mad about that. That's why they're pissed off at you for talking about this sort of thing.
Happened the other way, there'd be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act? It didn't pass.
Oh, right, because it was
Even
stupid.
when you had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact, not one law was passed at the federal level. So that's
yeah. What does this change? What does this change? Even this leftist woman, she's like, man, Van Jones, what you talking about? she doesn't even know what to think. She's looking at him. What George Floyd thing are we talking about? The murder on the train. I got that white girl several times. Purple plum guy. You think this is purple plum? Yeah, that is kind of purple plummy. CNN, Whitey is a problem. Also CNN, we don't know why he did it. Yeah, exactly. The grift is up for these people. The grift is up, and they're mad about that. That's why they're so mad about the right-wingers talking about that. They don't want you actually discussing this with sort of people. Again, it's the same reason why they don't actually want to discuss statistics. They're trying to keep you from filming when they wear the camera, but when you need the recording somehow, it's not on or it disappears. Yeah, that is scary to think about. I like how she's like even not understanding. What George Floyd thing are you talking about? You just want a law that has the word George Floyd in it. The suit is lavender. I agree. It's a very calming suit.
There'd be sweeping changes imposed on society. Where is the George Floyd Policing Act?
Where
it
is
didn't
it?
pass.
Where is it?
Even when you had a white police officer murder a black man on live television, the whole world saw, there were no sweeping changes. In fact,
Okay, yeah, because he was doing standard protocol, and we never got down to the bottom why he might have died due to fentanyl overdose. We're not going to actually talk about that, though. You saw the video. You saw it. Submit, surrender, bend the knee.
Not one law was passed at the federal level. So I think that's an important thing to point out. The other thing is, you mentioned the thing about cashless bail.
Yeah.
I think this is a big challenge that we have.
Okay.
Would you have felt better if there had been cash bail?
Yes.
And the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out? It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. People hurt.
Oh, this is my favorite part. We don't know how to deal with people that are hurting.
Deal with people who are hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people hurt people. What happened?
That's so wonderful. Can we get some poetry music? Some poetry. Slam poetry. Poetry. Is there some slam poetry music?
Guys.
And some slam poetry music. Slam poetry. Hurt people. Hurt people. God. Hurt people, hurt people. That's so deep. That's so true. Because, like, when you're hurt, you're vulnerable and you want to lash out and you're like a wounded animal. And sometimes you do things you'll actually regret. That's so true. God, he's so smart. He's so smart. Man, hurt people be hurting people. If I hear hurt people one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. Derek, I wish the grift was up. Dem still will buy this narrative 100%. All my Democratic friends are not paying attention to the story whatsoever. They're like that first guy at the beginning of this show where he says that no one cares about this girl being murdered. They're like those people. He's still a plum. That's true. Kristen says, the left has been bastardizing actual mental health with their woke religion. I totally agree. Oh my God, I totally agree. Like, so many people use mental health as like a weapon and not what it should be. And it makes me so angry. Now they pretend that they care about mental health. Get the F out, Van Jones. Exactly. If they actually cared about mental health, if they actually cared about these violent criminals, these violent schizophrenics, they would actually do something about it. Because some people can't help themselves in life. That's just the reality. And they can't cope with that idea. They can't cope with the idea that some people can't help themselves. You know, it's like the people that talk about addicts. It's like, why don't you just stop drinking? It's like, some people can't help themselves. They don't have a category for how to help these sorts of people, because the category, what actually happens is it seems very dehumanizing. But in my view, sometimes these people need to be involuntarily put in somewhere and be evaluated and maybe never let out, because that's the most human thing to do, is give them the help that they need, as opposed to just throwing them out in the streets or just throwing them in jail. Freaking so stupid. So stupid. Of course, you throw a violent schizophrenic in the street, he's going to use drugs to self-medicate himself. He's not going to take the prescribed drugs that you give him, and thus makes his violence even ramp up even higher. And they're like, we need to just let these. How dare you? Hurt people hurt people. How do we know he was hurt? Maybe he was just a raging schizophrenic and he had these very paranoid thoughts that, like he did say, that things were inside of his body making himself do things. And he was listening to that voice more and more, and no one was challenging him on that voice. So stupid. Yeah, say Zarutska's name. They won't say that name on CNN.
Better if there had been cash bail and the mom had come and put down $1,000 to let him out. It's not about cashless bail or no cashless bail. It's about the fact that we don't know how to deal with people who were hurting in the way this man was hurting.
Talk to
hurt
us.
people hurt people.
Oh,
what happened
wow.
was horrible. But it becomes an opportunity for people to jump on bandwagons. And then for someone like Charlie Kirk, he should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, be ashamed of yourself. Be ashamed of yourself.
No one mentioned the word race, white, black, or anything except him. What people mention is the
Right. But you were quick to mention the race when it came to Derek Chauvin and George Floyd, though. Just like some of these people, it's like, do you not understand how hypocritical you are? Do you not understand how freaking hypocritical you are, and also how the internet like lives forever? Van Jones, do you not understand how the internet works when you said that there's something inside white people that they can't help themselves but be racist?
Even the most liberal, well-intentioned white person has a virus in his or her brain that can be activated at an instant. And so what...
Oh my God, what's happening?
I love terrorists.
I'm being activated. Oh shoot, I'm activated. My racist tactics are going higher. Activation, mother fricker.
God, these people are so annoying, dude. They don't care if they're hypocrites. They hate white people. Again, I can't tell. It's either they do actually hate white people, or people don't give the grift credit enough. People love money so much that they're willing to double down on hypocrisies because it makes them money. Can we sue him? I wish.
I'm getting indoctrinated as we speak. Don't do drugs. Stop smoking, kids.
Absolutely insane from Van Jones. Shout out to Van Jones. Thanks for showing us your true colors. Shout out to Van Jones, honey. Shout out to Van Jones. Okay, I didn't think this was real. I didn't think this was real at all. But Black Lives Matter decided to put out a post today. Yesterday, after the day that everyone is talking about this horrific, gruesome murder of this black man killing a white Ukrainian woman on this train while he screamed, "I got that white girl." They decided to put this post out. Okay. And I had to make sure this was real, and it was real. Okay. I double checked. I went to it. So we're going to watch this video that they posted in reference to what actually happened, and just pay attention. Okay. They know what's going on social media. They're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. And they post this video about how we have a right to be violent. Okay?
We have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence.
All oppressed people have a right to violence. Oh, good. That's a great thing to say. Thanks for bringing that up right now. Really, it really helps heal the nation. It really doesn't just continue to make more racist. Oh, that's what you want to do? Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Black Lives Matter, because your grift is being racist. Oh, got it. It was never actually about, social justice. It was about becoming a grift.
We have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you something.
Tell me.
The right to pee. You gotta have the right place, you gotta have the right time, you gotta have the appropriate situation, and I'm absolutely convinced that this is it.
Okay. So they posted this last night. They decided to post this insane video last night. It's like they want some kind of race war. These people are sick, man. These people are sick. And if I was a black person and I was following this page, I would write comment after comment about, are you freaking kidding me, dude? This doesn't help the cause. This doesn't help you out whatsoever. It makes people more angry. But maybe that's what they want. That's what they want. We have a right to violence because we're oppressed. Oppressed by what? Yourselves? It's like having a right to pee. Who wrote this? Now, this is some great writing. We have a right to violence like we have a right to pee. Ever thought about that? You ever thought about us peeing and how we have a right to pee places? These white people are oppressed the way we pee all the time.
Right to pee.
I also like, I like how this like chick in this video just heard we have a right, like we have a right to violence, like we have a right to pee, and she's not smiling at all. She's like, if somebody said it to me, I'd be like, what? Right to pee? We talking about friggin' peeing? We talking about friggin' peeing? So are we in a race war now? I don't know, dude. That's what they want, dude. That's what they want. Honestly, that's why I've been kind of like focusing more on media and politicians and these DAs and stuff like that. Because I genuinely think a lot of these, what they want is us being mad at white people being mad at black people and black people being mad at white people. And they want us pointing the fingers at each other and not pointing the fingers at government, because then they would actually have to solve some stuff. They would actually have to do something about it. That's why I feel like the more you just fixate on like, yes, if you ride public transportation and you see somebody that makes you feel uncomfortable, you should not sit by them and not have to check your unbiased, like, the hairs on your neck standing up. Like, yes, but you should be fixating on these media personalities and these politicians to make some changes rather than just talking about black people. It's like, what are you going to do? Put them in camps, deport them? Like, what do you think is going to, none of that's going to happen. So what can actually change? The media, the way they talk about stuff like this, and also politicians. So keep the finger on those people, because those people don't want you to put the finger on them, because then they can stay in the shadows. Why is she wearing a desert people hat thing? A desert people hat thing? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Is that her African garb? It's like a pro-Palestinian thing or something. I have no idea.
Right to violence.
Oh, we have a right to violence. Man, Aunt Jemima has changed. This is what happens. You take Aunt Jemima off maple syrup, and all of a sudden she starts talking about violence. That's sick.
We have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence. And I'm going to tell you something. It's like the right to pee. You got it?
Shit. You talking about right to pee? You talking about peeing?
It's like the right to pee. You got to have the right place. You got to have the right time. You got to have the appropriate situation. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is it.
If I was her granddaughter, I would say, Grandma, you think about peeing too much. I'm feeling oppressed. Yeah, me too, dude. Me too, man. Me too. All right, here's another Van Jones clip. Van Jones just showing his true colors. I'm happy to see it.
Clear that
I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see, because the race grift is dying before their eyes, and they're going to. That's why they're mad at right-wingers talking about it.
It is very clear that this country is still struggling with racism. We still have racism showing up in almost every institution. We don't know why that man did what he did. And for Charlie Kirk to say...
That's after the murder of the Ukrainian chick.
We know he did it because she's white, but there's no evidence
Iryna.
Of that. It's just pure race mongering, hate mongering. It's wrong. It is very clear that this country is still struggling with racism. We still have...
The grift is up, man. The grift is up. Oh, speaking of grift, it turns out that the half-brother of the murderer that murdered her is actually locked up too for killing this white dude walking alone. No confrontation, just killing him as well. So it runs in the family. It's wonderful to see. Check this out.
Friends of a man who was killed almost a month ago are hoping that a permanent memorial will help his memory live on. Now, they plan to put that memorial in a South Charlotte park near where he was murdered.
Today, they met Eyewitness News reporter Mark Becker there to share their memories, but also their message.
Okay.
There's no good season to lose someone that you love.
Carol Ross knows that this Thanksgiving will be painful. She had known Bob Hames since they were teenagers, and she convinced him to move to Charlotte 8 years ago when she found out he was homeless and living on the streets of New York.
He was out of work for 4 years. He lost his apartment, was living on a park bench in Central Park for a while.
And it's no small irony that it was here on the street, just 2 blocks from home, where Bob died, fighting back, police say, against 2 young men who'd tried to rob him. The murder stunned this community, and even the arrest of 2 suspects couldn't ease the pain.
I just don't like that as the ending of.
Oh, by the way, that is right here. That's his half-brother. So, really great stuff from the family. Great job, guys.
Ease the pain.
I just don't like that as the ending of the story.
And we need to bring back these Matrix sunglasses. Early 2000s was totally lit.
In fact, Mike Ross and his mother decided that Bob Haim's story should live on with the memorial.
We had an idea when we knew we wanted to do it in a park.
They talked to the county and settled on Collins Park, just around the corner from where Bob Haim had lived.
He'd be, quietly, just kind of quietly in the back.
It will, Mike says, be a simple memorial, a bench with a small plaque and a tree that will live a long time after the memory of Bob Haim has faded, with a message the Rosses hope that will live many lifetimes.
And I just want to see the goodness in people. I don't want this to have such a negative impact.
Love and kindness and the good nature of people is going to overcome any of the bad things and the evil and the hatred and the.
Sure. Yeah. So this is his brother, Stacy Dijon Braun. His name is Stacy Dijon. Come on. He does kind of look like the Dijon mustard of his brother. Van Jones is a ghetto unk. My daddy was stabbed. My papa, he was stabbed. My grandma, she was stabbed. My auntie, she was stabbed. I guess I'd be stabbed too. Bubba unk. What? What do you mean? So his half brother was also a violent criminal. It's wonderful to see. I think the craziest thing, so like I've been like searching on social media for all these different crazy things. There's a weird thing going on with Jews. It's like, why are we talking about this? So there's a lot of Jewish accounts, including Dinesh D'Souza and people like that, that are going out and writing very similar things to. So this is a post about Matt Walsh saying, I want a witch hunt. I want every judge and DA who let this monster walk free arrested. I want them dragged in front of the cameras and chains, and I want their lives to be destroyed, which is not going to happen at all. And I understand, though, the anger behind that. So, and then you have a lot of these Jewish commentators writing, and they're conservative as well. And this chick's supposed to be like a comedian. She does like comedian things, but I see her just reuse jokes that have been said a million times, and people just follow her because they're simps online. She says, you mean when people are complicit in the cruel murder of innocents, they should be brought to justice? Wonder why you don't apply the same standard to Israel. It's like, what the freak, man? Why? How does it always go back? It's like, what are we talking about? Why are we even talking about that right now? Why are we even talking about that? I don't know why you don't equate this to black people, to Israel as well, and Jews. It's like, just sit this one out. Sit this one out for a little bit. Matt Walsh says, "Oh, piss off already! I'm talking about an issue in America, and all you can think about is Israel. It's pathetic. You aren't America first. You're Israel first, just from a different direction." Correct. God. There have been some right-wing accounts that have decided to, instead of the George Floyd posting their black squares, they've decided to post their white squares. And I genuinely think this is a little bit silly, but I understand the sentiment behind it. Again, do you, but the white square thing, I just like, it's so cringe. It's so cringe to me. I get they feel very justified in doing this because black people did it first. But I thought the whole George Floyd black square thing was cringe, and so I have to be consistent. I have to be consistent. If somebody came out and said the whole George Floyd black square thing was stupid and is not saying the white square thing is stupid, they're not consistent and they're not to be trusted. They're grifters as well. New York Times decided to post their first story when it comes to Iryna Zarutska. They decided to finally talk about the murder, but instead of actually talking about the murderer and talking about the horrible things the murderer did and maybe being out 14 times and why the DA and the judge allowed this sort of thing to happen and gave a written note saying to come back to court and actually be charged with stuff and just let him roam free. Instead of actually talking about those sorts of things, they decided to, of course, point their finger towards the right-wing establishment. Because nothing says I want to get down to the bottom of something like that than lecturing the right. And the New York Times put out this article. Ukrainian refugee stabbing in North Carolina ignites a firestorm on the right. Security footage captured the unprovoked stabbing in Charlotte became an accelerant for conservative arguments. Became an accelerant for conservative arguments about the perceived failings of democratic policies. That's 100% what actually happened. God, honestly, you do not hate the media, New York Times, enough. These people are evil and psychotic, and they are so concerned with your thoughts and having a different opinion than them. Security footage captured the unprovoked stabbing of Charlotte and became an accelerant for conservative arguments. It's spreading like fire about the perceived failings of democratic policies. That's 100% what it is. That's 100% what it is. Absolutely insane. All right, let's go to, let's hear from the British. What does the British have to say about this stabbing? Are they just going to point out the obvious double standard? Let's see.
That I'm witnessing a two-tier America. It seems to me without question, had the perpetrator been a white male with the same victim, we'd have been told, oh, look, America is systemically misogynistic, toxic masculinity. If it had been a black perpetrator with a white, if it had been a white perpetrator with a black victim, we'd have been told America is systemically racist to the core. In fact, that has happened on several occasions. When this happens, what do we hear in response? Well, actually, it seems that most of the corporate media have been stumm about the thing. Now,
don't come into my country and say words like stumm. Okay? Don't come into my country and say stumm. We don't know what those words mean. Stumm? Does that just mean dead silent? What does stumm mean? Stumm? Stumm? How do you... what is stumm?
Response? Well, actually, it seems that most of the corporate media have been stumm about the thing.
Stumm. Stumm is a Yiddish word. It's not even English. Silent or dumb? Who's saying stumm? Raise your hand if you've ever used the word stumm in the chat. If you've ever used the word stumm, I'm stumming you right now.
Several occasions. When this happens, what do we hear in response? Well, actually, it seems that most of the corporate media have been stumm about the thing. Now,
it's Jewish AF, I know. It's so Yiddish. I didn't... See, this is when you know I'm lying when I say I'm 1/100th Jewish. I don't even know what stumm means. What is freaking stumm, dude? I love... Okay. Oh, do you guys all know what that word means in my chat? What are you guys all, Jews?
Actually, it seems that most of the corporate media have been stumm about the thing. Now, if you take your mind back 5 years to George Floyd, within moments, the media was saying, oh, this is definitely racist. There was but some circumstantial evidence. I don't think barely circumstantial evidence that Derek Chauvin was actually racist, horrific as that video also was, and that killing also was, watching it. Here we see a different set of standards. And you mentioned DEI there. DEI is the same thing. It's two-tier. It's one rule for one group of people and another rule for another group of people.
Yeah.
I say this coming from Britain.
Oh.
In Britain, we have had decades of two-tier system,
Systems.
and there are terrible consequences.
Yes.
First of all, there are more victims. If you don't punish these people, if they are not incarcerated and properly dealt with, if they don't meet the heavy hand of the law, they commit offenses again. Secondly, and now this is what we're seeing in Britain, every weekend, almost every day, is protests. People have had enough. If people feel that the system is treating one group differently to another, they don't resent the system, they resent the other group that I'm with.
True. Again, and that's what's happening because, and I believe it's freaking intentional that they refuse to actually address this, like the actual problems. And so instead of us pointing the finger at the system, we're pointing the finger at the group. I totally agree with that. And of course, yes, you can point the finger at each group for the things that like they like are not well known for, bad things, for being known for bad things. But I want to point the finger at the system. I want more police in these areas. I want more police in these inner cities. I want more. And you should be able to feel safe. And I'm sure these people in these neighborhoods want to feel that way too. And if it means more black men are getting locked up, so be it. It's like, if you commit the crime, you got to do the time. Didn't we used to be a country like that? I don't know. Kristen says, I really like his voice though. Oh, you like his voice? I could talk like that too. If you like his voice. If we look at the systems that are perpetuating these sorts of things, these Americans don't actually look at these sorts of systems, and they should. And if we look at Matt Walsh wears flannel, and he talks about statistics. It's a wonderful thing to see Matt Walsh talking about statistics. I view that word, and don't be so stump about it. Element, what's up? He looks like Hunter Biden. He does look a little rough. He looks rough with the suit on, though. Look, I used to be a Mumford & Sons fan, too, okay? I was a hipster back in the day, okay? And then they got rid of him. Communist News Network? Yeah, 100%. All right, Matt Walsh decides to break down statistics, and these statistics really grind my gears because they're truthful. And I don't want to hear the truth, okay? I want to be pumped with as much propaganda as I possibly can. Pump me full of propaganda, daddy. Don't let me actually have to address real issues. Listen to Matt Walsh. This looks like AI Matt Walsh, by the way. What is this? What is this a real hairline? This looks like it was drawn. Matt Walsh is so good looking, he looks drawn. Good for you, man. What the frick, man?
Statistically, a white person is 30 times more likely to be killed by a black person than the other way around. We know that. That's just true. In 2019, there were about 560,000 violent interracial incidents between blacks and whites. 470,000 of them were black on white. That's 85%. 85%. 240 black people were killed by whites. 560 white people were killed by blacks. And this is all in spite of the fact that white people make up 60% of the population. Blacks are 13%. Just by raw numbers, not even per capita, but raw numbers, there are more black interracial killers than white. That should be impossible. There are 171 million more white people in the country, and yet there are more black interracial killers. By raw numbers. The young black males in particular are...
Numbers are racist. Everyone knows that. That off-color white supremacy is going crazy.
an order of magnitude more violent and more likely to commit crimes than any other group in the country.
Grinder meetup? Yeah.
Any other group in the country. Black men are 5 or 6% of the population. They commit the majority of murders in the country. That makes...
Congratulations, black man. Come down and take your prize. Majority of the violent crimes? Gah. Again, if I was a black person, I'd be mad that we're not talking about this sorts of things and how to fix it in our culture instead of pushing the problem down the road. It just doesn't make it. This is when you know you're part of a victim mentality, is that you can't have any accountability. And again, I'm happy to take accountability for like how white people shoot up schools. Like I'm happy. Oh, fine. Let's get down to the bottom. Let's actually figure out what's going on. What is it? A broken home? Is it divorce? Is it drugs? Is it marijuana? Is it video games? Is it SSRIs? Let's figure that out. Instead, it's like in this community, it's like, oh, it's obviously a red state problem.
magnitude more violent and more likely to commit crimes than any other group in the country. Black men are 5 or 6% of the population. They commit the majority of murders in the country. That makes black males in America more dangerous than perhaps any other demographic in the entire world, let alone in this country.
So what do we do? What do we do? If blacks had those numbers in investing rather than murder stats, they'd be new Jews. They are the real Jews, Rob. Don't you know that? Don't you know black people are the real Jews? If you actually look at history, haven't you ever talked to, what are they called? I don't even remember. What are those black Israelites? I don't even remember. Black Israelites. Have you ever talked to one of them? They'll educate you, okay? There's no saving you. You're not from the bloodline. It all starts in homes and how they're raised. We all know that, I think. It definitely is a factor, and I think it's crazy that people don't even consider that to be a factor. Look, I've seen people come from beautiful homes, beautiful marriages, great family environment, and still get hooked on like fentanyl and drugs and do horrible things. I've seen that. That's not uncommon. But to say that it doesn't have a factor in who you are is crazy. Is crazy. And that, like, honestly, that's like my biggest gripe about like this guy killing this girl is that people aren't putting this guy in the full context of who he is. It's just like, it's just like a black thing. It's like, yeah, that's a part of it. But also, let's also talk about the 14, being let out 14 times. Let's talk about his mother trying to push him to get incarcerated and the judge letting it out. Let's talk about like his family life growing up. He had a half brother that actually murdered another dude because he was robbing him. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how the system probably like encouraged him in his thought processes and stuff. Like, let's talk about how he's a single man living homeless, living on the streets, and that how much that like let's see this as in full context. And people are like, let's not do that. That's too much to think about. I don't want to actually put people in context. Don't make my brain think. Brain hard. Brain dumb. Brain don't want to think about things. Just tell me one thing to think about, and therefore I can just harp on it and grift on that. The Black Israelites, yes. Don't you guys know the Black Israelites are the real Jews? Being the real Jews, does that mean they have they still have their first food stamp? Wait. Being the real Jews, does that mean that they still have their first food stamp? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Sorry. I'm too stupid. I'm too stupid to understand. Well, Raul, speaking normal. Can you dumb that down to like third grade level? Even CNN continues to talk about this sort of thing.
Absolutely. One of the discussions that we've had earlier this week is that one of the failures that we have is that we have not figured out how to actually provide that kind of care.
How to provide the kind of care for these schizophrenic, violent offenders. Yeah, exactly. It's not that we haven't figured it out, lady. We have figured it out. It just, how we figured it out doesn't make people feel uncomfortable. That's the same with homeless people. The conversation becomes uncomfortable really quick. And then people don't know how to like handle that emotions. That's why you don't need emotional people in leadership, because they will come up with stupid solutions because they feel bad, or like the toxic empathy, and not allowing people to have consequences to their actions.
One of the failures that we have is that we have not figured out how to actually provide that kind of care.
Yeah.
That, if someone is actually seriously mentally ill, maybe on the verge of violence, where do they go?
We're unwilling
Except
to
on the
put
street.
in North Carolina, not on the verge of violence, actually demonstrated violence in the past, and nobody flagged it. Actually, the police, to your point, said, we're going to refer you to more resources, and that went nowhere. So there were multiple...
What do you mean nobody flagged it? He served time for his violence.
Derek, stay in Delusion. Delusion is a wonderful place to be. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Absolutely not. Have you ever seen that show? That show is hard, okay? That Jeff Foxworthy show where he did Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Some of those questions, I'm like, God, I don't remember being taught any of this crap.
Multiple. Nobody flagged it. He served time for his violent offenses.
Not for his schizophrenia. That's not a
crime. That's not a crime.
No, I know, but I'm saying that was compounding this entire issue.
Yeah, I know,
the
but I'm
fact that he
saying-
lashed out violently on that
I know.
train.
I'm just saying he did actually serve time for the violent offenses that he committed.
But he was a career criminal, a repeat offender who was let back onto our streets despite a really bad criminal record that suggests he should have been locked away for life because he was threatening the public. He was a menace to society.
He should have been locked away for life for what now?
See, this is it. This is the problem. I mean, she's a perfect example. I'm sorry, what did he do? I don't know, constant violent threats. His whole family saying he was a violent person and needs help constantly, needs 24-hour. People like this need 24-hour help. You know, it's like a lot of these homeless people, these that are schizophrenics on the street. A lot of these people need 24-hour help, which means that you don't just put them in a house or you don't just let them back out. And now they're uncomfortable. I'm sorry, what did he do? I'm sorry, what did he do?
He should have schizophrenia.
You want him to...
You actually said that. I can't believe you actually said that. Somebody should be locked away in jail forever for schizophrenia. Did you really say that?
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Did you really say that? Did you really? God, I hate debate bros so much sometimes. Did you say that? You said that. You did say that. You did say that. You said that. You said that. I'm trying to win an argument and have my moment here on CNN to show you how freaking smart I am. Did you say that? God, shut up. Importing West Africans pre-Civil War is the biggest mistake America's ever made. Well, Jeff Bezos needed his cotton made, man. What do you expect? What do you expect? We're doing it now with H-1Bs, bro. Okay, listen.
Somebody should be locked away in jail forever for schizophrenia.
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Is this actually...
He should be institutionalized. Yes, that's the correct answer. Sorry. I know it makes you uncomfortable. It's like, you ask a guy like this, okay, will you allow a violent schizophrenic to live in your home? No, I would never. Okay, then what do we do with that person? I don't know, it's your problem. It's not my problem. But I don't think it's right to do sorts of things like institutionalize people. Okay, then let the violent criminal live with you. No. No, that's racist to even suggest that.
Isolated.
Did you really say that?
In an institution.
Is this actually...
Institutionalized. What you're saying is that this man should have been roaming the streets.
I'm saying that you don't lock people in prison for schizophrenia.
An institution.
What kind of institutions? Institutions in terms of mental health care services?
Yes.
If you're talking about providing full wraparound services for people, I understand that. But at some point, you know, people do get out when they have been treated and rehabilitated.
Sure, but that didn't happen here. He didn't go to an institution at all.
But you're
and so he stabbed a woman and said he should be locked away for life.
There's thousands and thousands of people in America, more than, tens, hundreds of thousands who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia that are walking around.
Here we go. Here's the real doctor I've been waiting for. Here's Dr. Anna Navarro, famously known for her incredibly amazing takes on The View. What's up, Jessica? Here's Dr. Anna Navarro with those beautiful earrings. Wow, where'd you get those? TJ Maxx? Oh my God, I need those. Senior political commentator. That's racist. That's sexist. I mean, that's ageist. Calling her a senior like that on live television. Yeah, talk to us, Dr. Navarro. Tell us what you think.
He stabbed a woman and said he should be locked away for life.
Are you advocating? Are you advocating? It's like, God, you got it. She messed up. She said go to jail. Okay, she said go to jail. Just take a chill pill. God, some of these debate bro streams I absolutely love, but at the same time, like, can we just, what she meant? It's like, I'm not gonna ground her that. Words have meanings. Words have consequences to your meanings. And when you say words, you need to be held accountable for the things that come out of your mouth. Navarro means batshit crazy in Espanol. Hey, it's Ana Navarro. She is so crazy. Ana Navarro is a crazy Latino chica. Ana Navarro is freaking wacky, vato. Wilson says, this is why I can't watch the news. It makes me want to punch my TV. Wilson, if you're going to punch your TV, punch me. Punch me in the face. I'm ready for it. I totally know what you mean. Well, this is why you watch the news with somebody like me, okay? You watch the news with a crazy person like me. If you watch the news with a crazy person like me, what's up, AA4061? When you watch the news with a crazy person like me, then you can have fun while you watch the news. You can have a great time. Okay, I'm ready for Dr. Anna Navarro.
There's thousands and thousands of people in America, more than, tens, hundreds of thousands.
There are thousands of people in America. Have you ever thought about that? There's tons of thousands of millions of people in America. God, she's incredible. Let her cook. Stop trying to make her stop talking. Let her talk. Give her a podcast.
America, more than, tens, hundreds of thousands who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia that are...
Hundreds of thousands have been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Is that true? Let's ask ChatGPT. Has hundreds of thousands been diagnosed with schizophrenia? Talk to me. Let's see if hundreds of thousands. I'm going to fact check her live because it's important to fact check these freaks. Okay.
Thousands and thousands of people in America, more than, tens, hundreds of thousands who have been diagnosed with schizophrenia that are walking around and that are leading fairly normal lives because they are under treatment.
A lot of people
are we going to lock up everybody with schizophrenia for life?
There are. God, I love catching people at the most, not the most glorified look. There are schizophrenia people everywhere. Are you supposed to lock these people forever? See, this is the uncomfortable conversation. This is the uncomfortable conversation that people like her. This is why people like her shouldn't be in leadership roles. Are we gonna lock up everybody? No, you idiot. But a lot. And when we say lock up, we don't mean in jail. I don't want them with other violent people. I want them institutionalized. I want them helped. They're going to be drugged up for a great majority of their life, unfortunately. But that's more human. Let's say, okay, worldwide, there's 24 million people that have schizophrenia. United States estimates puts tens of thousands of new cases per year. Guess what, Anna? I just looked up the facts. Only about 40,000 to 60,000 people have schizophrenia. Looks like your numbers are wrong. You just got fact-checked. Fact-check live with Anna Navarro. Crazy Vato Latina. Híjola.
Normal lives because they are under treatment.
A lot of people.
Put a burrito in the chat.
Lock up everybody with schizophrenia for life?
He demonstrated violent proclivities repeatedly.
You said he should be locked away for life for schizophrenia. That is what you said.
This is what you said. You said this. This is what you said. I'm telling you, these debate bros are just so obnoxious. It's like, can you imagine being in an argument with some of these people? Could you imagine dating one of these women? And this black dude right here, this dude that's like, you said that. You said that. You said that. And it's like, you know what I meant though. Yeah, but you said that. I just want you to admit you said that. And that's crazy. And because you admitting that you said that makes me feel like I'm winning this argument. Because in life, that's all that matters is winning arguments. If you were dating somebody and that's how they, if you're dating somebody and you're in an argument and they're just so fixated on the one wrong thing that you might have said in the argument instead of listening to you, you're going to have problems forever. You are going to have problems forever. That is not a healthy way to argue. Okay? You're going to go to couples therapy real quick or break up.
Institutionalized. Yes, and if you're saying he should not, you're saying that young women like you and me are basically just, we're lambs into the slaughter. You go on public transportation in this city, that could happen to any single one of us.
I use public transit constantly.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Shut up. I don't think anybody on this show uses public transportation. I'm on public transportation constantly. Really? How many times in the last year? I did it one time when I visited New York. I'm constantly there. I should have been waiting outside for her. That would be so funny. Just, isn't she Cuban or something? Yeah, ship her back to Cuba.
Institutionalized, yes. And if you're saying they should not, you're saying that young women like you and me are basically just, we're lambs into the slaughter. You go on public transportation in this city, that could happen to any single one of us.
I use public transit constantly. That is completely unhinged, frankly. People shouldn't be locked away for mental illness. They should be treated for it.
In an institution.
In an institution, correct. And she's like, yeah, but we don't need to lock them away. Yeah, but what if they can't help themselves? Okay. Yeah. People that can't help themselves should be institutionalized. That's just the reality. That's more human than allowing these people to walk and roam free. That's way more dehumanizing. Oh, you can't take care of yourself and you're a threat to society? Why don't you just go outside and figure it out? God, that's way worse than these people. Put them in an institutionalized, get them drugged up, let them play chess, let them talk to a therapist, a psychiatrist, keep them in the, a setting that keeps them safe and keeps them safe from other people. That's way more humanized. Give them bedtime, let them play chess, let them watch TV, let them watch Derek O'Shea show.
Yes.
For life?
What's this?
Should be
isolated
For life? We're going to actually make these people go for life? Yes, you crazy woman. You crazy woman. I think the most satisfying thing, though, in regards of this whole thing, some positive news. This guy named Aragon Maccabi says, I'm offering $500,000 and 10,000 grants to paint murals of the face of Iryna Zarutska in prominent U.S. city locations. Email me for information. And he's offering $500,000. And then Elon Musk says, I'll contribute to $1 million for that, which is amazing to see. And then I also saw that Andrew Tate say he was going to contribute $1 million to it. So say what you will about him. That's nice to use that kind of money for that reason. But so there might be some murals popping up regarding Iryna, which is nice to see. But those, yeah, there won't be any news stories about that sort of thing. Let's just remember, I think that they can stay with her. Yeah, exactly. So the race grift is officially up, and nobody's actually listening to these race grifters anymore after the stabbing in Charlotte. And I remember this one time, not too long ago, when Jasmine Crockett, who is easily the smartest politician in Congress, and that's saying a lot, said this about white supremacy being the main problem in America that commits 80% of the crimes. Nobody believes this crap anymore, okay? Especially now.
And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within.
Yeah. These stupid race grifters want you to believe that white supremacy is the biggest problem in America. And that is the most evil thing in the world. These race grifters, these liars, these thieves of knowledge and information. And again, if I was black too, I'd be more mad hearing stuff like this while living in some of these communities and dealing with constant violence every single weekend from not white supremacists, and our politicians are talking about this? No, we all know what the real problem is in America. We all know what's, is some of the major issues because we actually have to live it. Most of us don't actually live in gated communities and have private security everywhere we go. We actually have to deal with the consequences to their actions where they don't have to deal with any consequences of their actions. That's why they can say whatever the frick they want to say. And then try to guilt trip you and emotionally manipulate you and gaslight you to believing lies. As if the main issue you struggle with every single day is that white men are going out and committing violent crimes. If that was true, and I'm just being gaslit like crazy, somebody needs to educate me because I need to be afraid of white guys then. I had no idea white men were that capable of that much crime. Maybe I'm in my own denial. Maybe that's the problem. Jasmine Davy Crockett. Joe Biden said it as well. Yeah, that's true. I remember when Joe Biden, he doesn't even remember what he said yesterday. Okay, give Joe Biden a break. He doesn't even remember what he said 2 seconds ago. Are you guys going to post up your white square? Can we get a fact check on this? Here, I fact checked this. When she actually did say this, I did it live. So the statistic is bullcrap, what they're pulling from. And they're creating a statistic out of basically nothing to drive a narrative. The sample size they used and what they use as what constitute as white supremacy and also violence is insane, and they're lying on purpose. That's the fact check. I forget. I think it was like a Wall Street Journal article. White supremacy commits 80% of the violent crime. Statement: white supremacists commit a crime is false. Oh. Google AI said the statement white supremacy commits 80% of violent crime is false and completely fabricated. No law enforcement agency or official crime database such as the FBI Uniform Crime Reporting UCR program supports this figure. The statistic appears to be a political misinformation and misrepresents data on extremist-related crime. Total crime created versus extremist. Total violent crime versus extremist violence. The 80% figure originates from a misinterpretation of the data from the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, Jews, and refers to only a small subset of homicides, not overall violent crime. Correct. I remember that's what we were talking about. The figures are all bullshit. Sorry for that language. But I get so angry with liars and people that misrepresent data on purpose. It's like, I've never even met a white supremacist. I've never even met a white supremacist in my life. Like, what the frick, dude? Like, where are these white supremacists? Like, what? Oh, Alabama? Is that really what it is? God. Oh, man. My square would be beige? My square would be red. And you're thinking, oh, that's Native American, that's racist. No, because of gingers. Look, and I just found out, I think the hardest thing for me to grasp right now is, as a ginger, finding out this year that I'm actually black. I don't know how to I don't know what to say about this anymore. As an African American man, I am equally as outraged as you people. And I'm sick of my people committing all these crimes. I had no idea I was African American until this year. I was friends with a couple. What are you talking about? Are you talking about that put up squares? Kristen, I tried to fact check, but ChatGPT says facts are racist. That is actually true. Facts are actually racist. Isn't that funny? Isn't that like idea even funny? That facts are racist? It's like, if the facts make a certain subset of people not look good, why wouldn't you want that out there? Like if you, I can't emphasize this enough. If I'm a black man in America, which I am friends with multiple black men, I prefer black men. I'm just kidding. I am friends with lots of black guys. If I was a black dude, I would be pissed off about this sort of thing. I would be wanting to change the culture, change the narrative. Instead, they want to like double down. It's so weird. It's just depressing. It's like you're making your argument worse. You're making people hate you more. You're making like actual real hate-filled racists like seem logical now because of your response to this sort of thing. That's not a helpful thing. God. Grow up. Be a man. Kamala ran, and we know that how that worked out. That's true. 80% seems like a smidge high. Just saying. Yeah, because it's the lie. The numbers are lies. The numbers are absolute lies. Then you wake up and realize you're white. Yeah, you talking about me? Yeah, that's true. I did kind of wake up and realize. So what did we learned that schizophrenia numbers are being misrepresented in the media. We learned that violent white crimes. I love this right here. It's like let's get a little zoom in. See, this is why I need my other mouse. What's it say? I need to get a new mouse. Okay. The statement white supremacy commits 80% of violent crime is false and completely fabricated. No law enforcement agency or crime database such as the FBI Uniform Crime Reporting Program supports this figure. The statistics appear to be political misinformation that misrepresents data on extremist-related crime. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Total crime versus extremist violence. And that's what they're trying. They're trying to really. They're saying like the numbers aren't false because it's talking about extremism. It's like if there's only like 3 or 4 extremist acts per year and they're all white males, that doesn't compare to how many people are just flat out murdered per year. Total crime versus extremist violence. 80% figure originates from misinformation and data by the ADL. Never trust the ADL. Actually, the ADL are great people. Official data from the FBI and the Bureau of Justice Statistics, BJS, provide a more accurate figure on violent crime in the United States. Total violent crime in 2024, the FBI reported an estimated of 359 violent crimes per 100,000 people. The most common violent offense was aggravated assault, accounting for 70% of all reported violent crime. Who did it? Who did it? Who did it then? Who did all that violent crime? Crime is racism. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. I think, so I didn't do a live stream yesterday because I was just like, I needed a breather from the show I did on Monday because it was still about Iryna. Not that that's a bad thing at all, but I just was like, I'm just so angry about the whole situation that if I come on and go live, it's just going to be like dumb. And so I just needed to take an emotional break and think about this whole thing. And so that's why I did this show this morning. But tonight, I think we're gonna talk about other things going on in the world. Tonight, we're gonna talk about other news stories. I have some funny news stories to talk about. And I wanted to do that last night, but I was like, that's not right. I can't do that tonight. So we're gonna have a little bit more fun. And we're gonna talk about more different news stories that you haven't heard of. And we'll probably talk about a little bit of the Epstein stuff. The stuff that's going on with Epstein is so confusing to me. That's like one of Trump's biggest downfalls. Like, I just don't understand. It's the most untransparent thing in the entire administration. Everything else is I'm okay with so far, except for like maybe, bombing and stuff. But the Epstein stuff is weird. Is he an FBI informant? Is he not an FBI informant? Are these women just grifting off of Epstein now, talking about releasing the names, but then not releasing the names? I don't understand what's going on. So I'm going to look more into that. And then I got some fun news stories to talk about. They got creative with the facts always. Thanks, Experimental. Thanks, Derek. Love you, bro. Hey, Rob. Love you, man. Yeah, have a great day. What time tonight? I'm gonna go live at. I'm going to try to go live. Look, if I don't go live at an exact time, it's because I'm creating this own show myself, and I'm trying to put it all together. But I try to go live at 8 p.m. Eastern daily. I try my best to. Sometimes I'll end up going live at 8:15 or 8:30. But if I push it back, it's because I'm looking more into stories or I'm looking more into information. So if I ever push my late night show a little bit later than normal, it's only because I'm trying to get down to more information for you and for myself, so I don't seem like a total idiot. So see it as a good thing. If I'm like late, just assume like, oh, Derek's like researching more. It's not that I'm like picking my nose or something. I don't have researchers. I work full time and I'm the researcher. So I'll see you guys live later, 8 p.m. tonight. Have a great day, guys. Make a difference in someone's life, and protect the people around you in your community. And don't be an idiot if you get on public transportation. It's okay to walk across the street. Like I was downtown not too long ago, and I was walking, and I felt very uncomfortable by the kids that were around me because they were getting loud and they were wearing shiesties. And I thought, I'm going to walk across the street. And I did. And there's nothing wrong with that. So don't be afraid to do that. It's just, if somebody calls you out for something like, oh, are you walking this way because of the way I look? Yes. Yes, dude. Yes. I'm not trying to chance my life. Yeah, have a great day. Derek, like Alex Jones in the early days. Oh, don't even try to get me excited about that. This is info